No taxation without representation is tyranny. James Otis. Greetings. My name is Joseph Yagar. Welcome to another Life in Perspective broadcast. My objective is to provide thought-provoking discussions so you can optimize your perspective on life. One of the hottest topics of debate in this presidential campaign is the wealth tax. It's supposed to impact a minute percentage of the population, more specifically, those who have a net worth of $50 million or higher. The crime of those impacted is that they made too much money, tipped the wealth scale way too much, and allegedly are not paying their fair share. Really? Before I continue, please consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already done so by clicking the subscribe link below. It's free and would be much appreciated. You may also follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. According to the National Taxpayers Union Foundation, the top 1% of earners are paying about 39% of the tax revenue, while the bottom 90% pay less than 30%. That does not include the tax revenue paid by the many they employ and the very accountants and lawyers they hire to help them follow the tax code and save them money. Excuse me, but if you are indeed following the tax code, are you not paying your fair share? Wait, it gets better. The wealth tax will require that the ultra-wealthy, as these crusaders call them, will have to pay the additional tax on all assets they own, even if these assets are not generating income and are anywhere in the world. For example, if your mega wealth is mostly your company's stock, art, horses, or real estate, even if you haven't sold any nor intend to, a tax will be imposed. Furthermore, if you did sell the stock, you'd pay capital gain. So if you earn money, paid the tax due, invested wisely, and made a fortune while paying your due along the way, that's no longer good enough. So, if you can't pay the tax because your liquidity is tied up in these assets, you may be forced to sell a good investment, pay the capital gain, and pay the tax on the asset value assessed. And this tax is due annually. Are you kidding me? That sounds a lot like extortion, if you ask me. Supposedly, some billionaires are willing to pay the tax to help the land of opportunity get out from under the mess it put itself in. That's kind of them, and will indeed make a dent to the tune of approximately $4 trillion over a decade. Unfortunately, still nowhere near enough to get the U.S. from under its debt load based on the budget proposals in place, nor from under the debt, current and accumulated, over the same period. Granted, a healthy majority of the population will be in favor of the wealth tax because it is marketed by politicians as a Robin Hood tax of sorts to help the less fortunate. Some of it may indeed serve that purpose, but much of it will go to support a bigger government, debt repayment, and political agendas. It takes money to make money, and here it will be no different. You can preach wealth gap and inequality all you want from a political pulpit, attempting to be seen as a crusader for the poor. In my opinion, you'll provide a platform for the poor to stay poor and entitled, for fraudsters of the welfare system to have a larger pool to defraud, for the wealthy to have less incentive to produce, employ, and cooperate with transparency, and leave charitable organizations struggling. Furthermore, allowing such a law to pass will only be the beginning of the multitude of campaigns to strip the wealthy and cripple the creativity and foundation of free enterprise upon which a free society is built on. Just look back to 1913 when income tax became permanent. The highest federal tax bracket was 7% for those earning $500,000 or more, and the tax return was 3 pages long. They said it would not rise from there. Since then, it was as high as 94% before landing at 37% today. A 400+% increase. Historically, whenever the national debt increased, taxes followed. And guess what? Nothing has changed. Today, there are but a handful of governments around the world which have a surplus. Socialist dictatorships and anarchies are unstable forms of government that cripple economies and simply don't last. When they collapse, it is by revolution, civil unrest, and or war. They are a form of regressive ideologies that can take us back to the Dark Ages. To propose such a measure without a clear path to fiscal redemption and responsibility is a doorway to an abyss which even my optimistic nature does not see a way out of. Pandora's box may be a powerful myth. However, in my humble opinion, if the war on wealth is allowed to launch, it may very well become a realized prophecy. Please let me know what topics you would like my perspective on in the comment section below. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.